slacking on Halloween content so badly. Also, this video is gonna be a day late because I filmed it once already and then my phone, like, I don't know, glitch. It like corrupted the file in some way that like it wouldn't even let me play it. I think it's because my phone was out of storage, but it wouldn't even let me like play the video in my camera roll, and it wouldn't let me send it anywhere to edit it. It was a whole thing. So now I'm filming it again. Technical difficulties. Also, I don't know, I feel like this is framed so weird. I feel like usually you can't see this stuff in my videos. It's always here. I don't know why. We're moving past it, okay? We have to. We have to move on. So in one of my other videos, I said that I was gonna make a video about my favorite Halloween episodes of TV. I said Halloween media, so like including movies, but I think I'm just gonna focus on TV for this video. And my first disclaimer is that this is not me saying these are the best of all time and everyone should think these are the best, although I do think that, but it's not what I'm saying. These are my personal favorites. You don't have to agree. You can like other ones that I didn't mention. Also, I'm sure I forgot some. I'm sure that I forgot things. So without further ado, let's get into my personal favorite Halloween episodes of television that I can remember off the top of my head. I am a huge Bob's Burgers fan, and Bob's Burgers has multiple Halloween episodes, and they're all good. In my opinion, they're all good, but I do have favorites of those. First and foremost, of course, is Full Bars, which is the first Halloween episode in the whole show, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But I love that Linda always makes their costumes and that their costumes are always a pun, and I think that's so fun. I could also spend some time going over like my favorite of the Belcher kids' costumes because they're so good. I love the dragon with the girl tattoo. Big fan. I loved when Louise was Edward Scissorhands as well. Of course, I loved their group costumes as well, like the Chinese dragon, even though they didn't actually get to wear that one at all because they got stuck in a fort. But it would have been cool. It was cool in theory. I think Tina's idea to be Hot Mess that Tammy stole and her Sand Witch were brilliant, and I think she should have won that competition for with Sandwich. She should have won first and foremost. I think None of Your Business was brilliant, and it kills me that Linda just never really understands the point. Like, she just never fully understands it. She's like, oh, she's a cranky nun. Like, no. But it's so good. It's so good, and that whole thing is so funny. Fiona Applesauce. Hilarious. Freshly Squeezed Beetlejuice. Their Twister group costume was immaculate, even though everything was falling off of it, but that's not the point. My point is, Full Bars is a really good episode. It's the episode where they are trick-or-treating, the Belcher siblings, they're trick-or-treating, and then they kind of are running out of houses, and so they go to King's Head Island, where all the rich people live, and they get full bars in their thing, but then they find out that there's like a weird tradition that the older kids do, and they call it Hell Hunt, and they terrorize the younger kids that are trick-or-treating out past a certain time, and it's about the Belcher siblings trying to get away from that and also save some other kids from that and harassing the older kids back. And then I think Linda and Bob they go to Teddy's Halloween party in this episode, and somebody kills Teddy's guinea pig by accident, or they think somebody killed Teddy's guinea pig, and it's like a murder mystery, and Teddy makes everyone stay, and then they try to figure out who killed the guinea pig, and then it turns out not only was the guinea pig crushed and sat on, but Teddy had spray painted the guinea pig orange, so Teddy killed the guinea pig, you know? Anyway, I think that's a really good episode. And then my second favorite Bob's Burgers Halloween episode is The Haunting, and that's the one where Bob and Linda make a haunted house because Louise can't be scared. They can't scare Louise. They can never figure it out. They try over and over again. They can never scare Louise. So they make a haunted house, and the kids are going through the haunted house, and you're trying to... It's like a really lame haunted house. It's like not very good. Louise is obviously not scared, and they're just kind of defeated, but then weird things start happening that they didn't plan, and it seems like very creepy, very scary, very haunted. And then there's this scary man standing outside, and they think he's gonna murder them, and he gets really close, and then they look outside and there's like a cult situation going on, and they climb out on the roof to try and get away from the murderer, and Louise is like genuinely scared and screams. And then you find out that Bob and Linda had planned that whole thing, and that was their real like plan the whole time. And it did scare Louise, and it worked, and she's like very grateful. She thinks it's the best thing ever that they successfully scared her, and she's thrilled. That episode low-key scared the fuck out of me the first time I watched it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a baby, I'm a wimp. It freaked me out. It was a scary episode of television, but it was so good, and that one might be my favorite. I think that's my favorite, and then Full Bars, and then every other Halloween episode also good. Nobody does a Halloween episode like Bob's Burgers. I'm gonna be so real with you. Okay, next, one of my favorite shows of all time is New Girl. It's so good. It's so good. And the episode, I think, titled Halloween is one of my favorite episodes of the whole show, but also one of my favorite Halloween episodes of television. Obviously, it's on the list. But anyway, the plot of this episode, if you haven't seen, is Jess is she's dating this guy, Dr. Sam, and they're not like exclusively dating, they're mostly just hooking up, and she's starting to have feelings for him. And so she's working in a haunted house part-time, and she invites Dr. Sam to come, and he's like, okay, I'll be there. And she's like, well, you have to wear a costume. And he's like, oh, I'm not really a dress-up kind of guy. And she was like, okay, whatever. And then she decides that this is gonna be her test on if he really has feelings for her, and she should ask him to be exclusive or not. If he shows up in a costume, then he really likes her, and if he doesn't show up in a costume, then whatever, no harm, no foul, call it off. And like the B plot of this is that Nick's old college crush is visiting, and he never told her how he felt. It was obvious, but he never like flat out told her how he felt because she kind of scared him. And he finally tells her, and they make out. She's a really weird kisser, respectfully to the girl. She's a very weird kisser, and he's like, oh, it's not living up to the fantasy that I had built up in my head when I was obsessed with her in college, you know what I mean? As most men do when they fall in love with the idea of a girl instead of the real person. Anyway, and then obviously we also know that Nicholas Miller was very much in love with Jessica Day, so wrong girl. He just, it wasn't happening like that. Oh my god, okay, Winston in this episode not only pisses me off but confuses me deeply, because he does something that, in my opinion, feels so out of character for his character, because his character is a weird little whimsical man who loves a good joke, loves a good weird thing. Like, he's a weirdo freak, and he loves weird shit, and he loves bad jokes and puns and stuff like that. But he has this girlfriend at the time who's like his long-term girlfriend, and they're kind of fizzling out, but they originally we're gonna go as sexy cops together, or I don't know if they were both being cops. They were supposed to be sexy, both of their outfits. But then she shows up. She's wearing a cape with a bunch of stuffed animals stuck to it. And they fight. And he refuses to understand the pun of her costume, which was raining cats and dogs. And I personally think that that's genius. Genius. Shout out Shelby. That's so fucking funny. Big fan of her costume. And then she finds the coat of arms one later, which I also think is brilliant and amazing. Not the point. It confuses me that Winston not only refuses to understand her costume, but gets so mad about it. Because I feel like Winston would love the raining cats and dogs costume, and I just don't. It feels very out of character. They break up. At some point, Nick has to go into the haunted house to retrieve Jessica because he has something to tell her. I don't know why I'm blanking on what. Not the point. He goes in. He punches Jess in the face because he gets scared. He's a wimp. He hates haunted houses. That's a big plot of the episode. He was not gonna go in the haunted house. He goes in to get Jessica. He punches her in the face out of fear. Not his finest moment. Dr. Sam wears a costume, well, just a clown nose, that's it. And then she asks him to be exclusive. He says, no, I told you what I wanted. It's not that. They call it quits. He leaves. And then the end is very sweet, and it's Nick holding an ice pack to Jessica's face, and then he lets her punch him back. But it's such a good episode. It's such a good episode. I love New Girl. The other Halloween episode in New Girl is Keaton, and while I do like this episode, I don't like it as much as the other one. So I'm ordering them in that order, but I do still like it. And it's the one where Cece and Schmidt have just broken up. One of the times that they break up. And Schmidt is very depressed. He's being a weirdo. He's eating cold cuts straight out of the bag and squirting mayonnaise into his mouth and being weird on the couch. He's going through it. over this breakup, and Cece's avoiding coming over because she doesn't want to see him, but Jess is throwing a Halloween party, so obviously she wants her best friend Cece to come. So she kind of tells her that she can make sure that Schmidt's not there, even though they live in the same house, like it's his house too, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a little hard to make sure he's not there, especially because he's not leaving the house right now because he's very, very depressed. And she finds out that Nick and Schmidt's mom have been plagiarizing letters and emails from Michael Keaton when Schmidt's going through a hard time. So Schmidt thinks he's best friends with Michael Keaton, and that's how he's like getting through all these hard things in his life. And Nick refuses to do this in this moment. He's like, I'm not doing that anymore, we're done. Jess doesn't listen. She forges an email from Michael Keaton. It's a whole thing. Schmidt does eventually learn that he doesn't know Michael Keaton. He dresses up as a public serpent, which I think is very funny. He like wears like a reptile costume with like a tie, and I do think that's really funny. Nick just wears trash from his car. That's it. But yeah, also a very good episode, just not my favorite of the two. Parks and Rec had some good Halloween episodes, but I don't know. I think maybe I just haven't rewatched Parks and Rec in a really long time, and that's my problem, and I need to rewatch it and then I'll feel differently. But right now, none of them are really standing out to me. I'm just thinking of that line that April says where she's like, I missed a gay Halloween party to be here. Do you know how fun gay Halloween parties are? Last year I saw 2 Robert Pattinsons make out with 2, what was it? I don't remember, but great line. But I think there's one where there's like a kid. I don't know why I'm listing these, because clearly they're not standing out for me, so I don't think they deserve to make the list. But again, I think I just haven't rewatched Parks and Rec in a long time, and maybe they would make the list. But I love that line, so I wanted to include it. Community. Oh my god, Community. My favorite. There's multiple Halloween episodes of Community as well, I'm pretty sure. But my favorite is, I actually don't know how to pronounce it. I'll put it on the screen. That's embarrassing. Epidemiology. Epidemiology. I don't know how to pronounce that word, and that's not the point. The point is that this episode, so good. It's the episode where they're having a Halloween party at Greendale, and a zombie virus breaks out, and they have to like fight zombies and survive the virus and all that good stuff, except none of them survive. They all get the virus, and they just so happen to, at the very last second, the last person, I think is Troy, fixes, because it's like temperature based, the virus that they have, and if they can change the temperature, everyone's virus should die and they should go back to normal. And like as the Troy is turning at the very last second, he just barely manages to change the temperature, and then everyone is saved. But it's so good. I love all of the tropes and recreations that Community plays into, and I just think this is, I'm also, mind you, not super into zombies. I don't love zombie media. I don't know why. I just feel like it's oversaturated, and it's not my thing, and that's okay. I understand the appeal. It's just not my thing, but this episode, really good. Really good. Can't really talk about Halloween episodes without talking about Pretty Little Liars. They have so many good Halloween episodes. So many good Halloween episodes. Obviously, there's the Ghost Train. So good. So good. There's far too much going on. That's the thing that is so entertaining, is there's so much going on in this episode. It's almost hard to follow. Like, there's like 3 different bad guys. You don't know who anyone is because everyone's in masks. Adam Lambert is there for some reason performing on this train, and it's really good. Hannah dresses up as Marilyn Monroe and she looks amazing. Their entire group dressed up as old movie characters. I think Aria was Daisy Buchanan from The Great Gatsby. Emily was Barbarella, and she looked so good. She looked so good. Right before this episode had happened, Allie's body had gotten dug up and stolen, and they find it on this ghost train in a big thing of ice that had drinks in it. That's at the end of the episode. But before that, Aria gets kidnapped and shoved in a box in which there's also a dead body of a person that Spencer had just talked to, like, not that long ago. Spencer also gets attacked, and I think Paige saves her. While Aria's in said box, 2 people almost push it out of the moving train, almost killing her. A whole lot happens. It's crazy. There's of course the Halloween episode that is the flashback to Halloween where Allie is still there and she dresses up as Lady Gaga. That's where they first met Jenna, who also dresses up as Lady Gaga, but her costume is way better. No offense to Allie. I don't know. Allie's wig is like not good. Not the point. Allie tries to like test the girl's loyalty by like pretending to be in grave danger in this abandoned building, and then it turns out she was in grave danger because the person she hired to do the tricking says that he never even made it there, so she was legitimately getting attacked. Crazy and alarming. Somebody in like a weird creepy baby mask, very unsettling. And I'm pretty sure this is the episode that in the beginning there's that weird scene where you see those twins and they're fighting over a doll. Allie's like telling a ghost story to the kids at babysitting, and we see the story play out, and it's like those two little twin girls and one of them stabs the other one over a doll. That scared the fuck out of me when I was like 14. Scared the hell out of me, I won't lie, but also very good Halloween episode. Don't get me wrong, I love a funny Halloween episode, and again, I am a wimp, but I almost really just love scary Halloween episodes, especially when the show isn't usually scary. Not that Pretty Little Liars isn't usually scary, because it is. It is. I used to have to only, when I first watched Pretty Little Liars when I was like 13 years old, I would only watch it during the day. Again, I'm a wimp, leave me alone. Speaking of Halloween episodes that are scary on a show that's not usually scary, we can't talk about good Halloween episodes unless we talk about The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. We can't, because that might be the best Halloween episode of television of all time. I didn't include, okay, Disney in general had so many really good Halloween episodes back in the day. In that era of television, their like Monstober thing was so good, and they had so many good Halloween episodes, and I did not write any of those ones down, and I'm just realizing that, except for this one. But like pretty much anything, like That's So Raven had a really good one. Oh my god, the one where she turns into a cow, that's a Halloween episode, right? Add that to my list. Add that to my list. Is that a Halloween episode? I can't remember. Raven like turns into a cow. I don't remember if that's Halloween, but it's good. It's a really good episode. Anyway, back to Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. The Ghost in Suite 613. Dude, this episode was so fucking scary. I mean, like, I haven't watched it in a really long time, so I can't say that it's scary now, but it used to scare the fuck out of me. So basically, the plot of this episode is that, so if you don't know, Zack and Cody live in a hotel. That's the whole plot of the show. But apparently, there's a room in the hotel that nobody ever checks in anymore. Nobody is allowed to use that room. It's constantly empty because I guess somebody died there and it's allegedly haunted. So I guess there's this woman, and there's like a painting of this woman. There's a woman that died in that room, and now she haunts it. And so, obviously, Zack and Cody are, I think, dared to spend a night in that room. I haven't watched this episode in a really long time. I should have watched all of these episodes before making this video, but that would have taken a long time. It's a lot of television. Not that I don't watch a lot of television as it is, but not the point. But I know Zack really wants to see the ghost, and Cody is scared. On brand for both of them. I think the story of the woman is that she was rich. Her and her rich husband, fiance, I don't remember, checked into the hotel, and he went to war and he didn't come back, but then she found out he didn't go to war. He cheated on her with some lady, and so she threw a hairbrush, I think, at a mirror, and then it broke and shattered, and that's how she died, I think. But yeah, then Zack bets Cody money that he can't spend the night in the hotel room after they've been told all of these stories, and like told stories from Mr. Mosby and some of the staff about ghosts, like experiencing the ghost. And so Zack bets Cody they can't stay the night in that room by himself all night. But I don't think he does it by himself. I think Maddie and London go too. But then while they're there, Arwen, I think, just like ghost hunting and like detects ghost activity, but Esteban comes and does a seance. And this is the scary scene. And the scary scene in the whole episode is Esteban doing a fucking seance. And he's doing the seance, and the ghost possesses him, and then he speaks, I don't know, the voice he speaks in really used to scare the fuck out of me as a child. Okay. And then like throughout the night, the ghost is taking people, question mark. Every time she gets like annoyed with a person, or they say or do something that she doesn't like, bye. So I think she takes Maddie, Cody's blanket, and then she takes London. She doesn't take Cody, just his blanket. But then at the end of the episode, you find out that this was all a prank to scare Zack, because he was trying to scare Cody, so they all got together. Everyone else in the room got together to prank Zack. And it worked. He got very scared. He tried to leave. Successful prank. But I think at the end, her real ghost does show up. I do remember that. Switching gears to a less child-friendly show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You know where I'm going with this. The episode Who Got Dee Pregnant? amazing television. Amazing television. It's basically, we find out at the beginning of the episode that Dee is pregnant. And she doesn't tell them who the father is. She doesn't tell them anything. She's just like, I'm pregnant. Bye. And then everyone there is trying to figure out who the baby daddy is. And they realize that it could be any of them, which is disturbing because one of them is her brother. It's not him. By the way, they did not sleep together. That did not happen. That is what it seems like at first, but that did not happen. Thank God. And it's basically just them going over the night from each of their point of views to try and figure out who impregnated Dee, basically. But it was at a Halloween party. I know I'm realizing now this doesn't sound like a Halloween episode. It was a Halloween party the night of the alleged impregnation. At the end of the episode, they find out she's a surrogate, so none of them did. But such a good episode. So good. Then there's the Rocky Horror Picture Show episode of Glee. I think that counts as a Halloween episode. Is that on Halloween? I can't remember. I'm trying to only include, because there's a lot of episodes of shows that are spooky or could be related to Halloween, but I'm talking mostly episodes that take place on Halloween. But the Rocky Horror Picture Show episode of Glee, so good. So good. I think they should have had Quinn singing in that range a lot more often. They did amazing, but it's basically they want to put on the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Well, Will wants to put on the Rocky Horror Picture Show because he finds out that the girl he's in love with, Emma, really likes it, and she has a boyfriend, and he's trying to steal her away from said boyfriend, so he's trying to impress her by putting on the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but it's, like, with children, like his high school students, so it's a little weird of him, and he's being a little weird about it. He's being super weird the whole time, but they really want to put on the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and so it's, like, about the rehearsals and the casting and all of the hemming and hawing of all of that, and then at the end, they don't even get to put on the Rocky Horror Picture Show, so they just put it on for an audience of no one at the end. Very entertaining, though. Oh my god, I'm just realizing I forgot one of my favorite Halloween episodes of Bob's Burgers. I didn't write this down or put it, like, in any order in any way. I'm kind of just, like, thinking about it in my brain. But I think it's Heartbreak Hotel-O-Ween? I know it's Hotel-O-Ween, but I don't know the rest. But anyway, I remember, okay, Louise wants to get back at people who last year didn't give them candy and said they would this next year, and so she wants to get revenge on them. Excuse me, so sorry. But instead, they end up going to a hotel where they meet this weird old woman, and they get sidetracked with that, and Louise keeps being like, come on, we gotta go, but they're like, no, we have to help this sweet old lady. Because I guess she wants to perform a seance to contact her dead ex, the old lady. And they help her do that. And it's like the story of like how her ex died. Because she thought he cheated. We find out he didn't. But anyway. That not only takes place on Halloween, but he also, it's like the anniversary of his death. He also died on Halloween. And so it's like flashbacks to that. And then also the current day. But it's so good. So good. And I'm ending on my favorite TV show ever. Again, there are a lot of episodes of Psych that could be watched around Halloween because they fit that vibe, but I don't think most of them take place on Halloween, so I'm not including them, but so many of them are so good. Actually, the more I think about this, the more I don't think this episode takes place on Halloween either. But I'm including it anyway, because I don't think any episodes of Psych take place on actual Halloween, and I don't want to not include it. I don't want to not include it. I have to talk about Psych at least once a day or I'll explode. Anyway, the episode is called In Plain Fright, I think, and one of my favorite things about Psych is that they like Community, love a good trope, love a good recreation, love a good homage, and it's my favorite thing ever. And in this episode, it takes place in a theme park, like an amusement park, but during Scarefest, which is they turn the whole thing basically into a haunt attraction. And the plot of the episode is that they haven't done Scarefest in a really long time because at one Scarefest, a kid fell from the Ferris wheel and he died. And so they stopped putting it on for a while. And then Sean and Gus used to go all the time and they really loved it, so they're going together again this year. And they get on this ride, and Gus is a wimp, a baby, me. He's very relatable. And they get on this ride and they're going through, it's like one of those, not roller coasters, but like you sit in a little car and it brings you through a building, and I don't know. And all these like scare actors are coming out, and these like effects, yada yada yada, flashing lights, dark rooms, blah blah blah. And Gus is hiding his face because again, wimp. And Sean sees somebody being legitimately murdered, strangled. And can I just say, this episode validates my fears. I've talked about it before. I've talked about this episode because of this, but the reason that I'm afraid of haunted houses and haunted anything that involves a haunt actor is because, not because I'm scared of what's going on or the effects or anything, but because I'm afraid. I think that that's the perfect place to kill somebody for real in front of people with witnesses and still get away with it. Because everyone's wearing costumes and masks, and people expect scary things like that to be happening, and they'll just think it's part of the show. And you can be as brutal as you want because, like, all of the effects around you, people are covered in fake blood, fake guts, fake everything, and people expect people to have fake weapons, and just, like, it should be so easy to get away with it, and people just think it's part of the show. Anyway, this episode validated that fear. Back to my point. Sean sees this person being real life strangled, right? And then nobody believes him. Nobody believes him. He tells Gus. Gus doesn't believe him. He tries to tell the attendant. She's like, you saw a volleyball on a stick. Wrong. He saw somebody being real life strangled. And then they figure out he was right. That person was real life strangled. And then one of the other people that run the place are like, I know who killed him. The ghost of the 15-year-old boy that fell from the Ferris wheel and died. I've been seeing him too. And he's haunting us. And he's mad at us for putting Scarefest back on. I said I didn't want to do it. This guy, the guy that died, didn't listen, and now the ghost of Johnny Ricketts is coming back after us, and we're all gonna die. I've been seeing him. And then, what do you know? He does also die. And then a third person was also there. And they're like, oh crap, we gotta save this lady. And then if we find out that it's not a ghost. It's the girl who was on the Ferris wheel with the boy who died. But, a very spooky episode, and I love it very much. I love it very much. Anyway, I could probably talk about Halloween episodes forever, and I probably have more, but this video is already 40 minutes long, and I have to edit it down. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching. What's your favorite Halloween episode of TV ever? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next week.